Hello everyone, Saida here. I hope you're all doing well. So I wanted to come on and make this video related to the year 2020, okay? So this isn't just going to be about the year 2020 because we're actually entering into a new decade. So we have a new cycle that's starting, which is going to bring in some new energy. So I thought I would discuss some of the things that I picked up on for the new decade coming up, and this was triggered by me doing the Galactic Healing Circle, which I do every month. So be on the lookout for any advertisements that I post on my Instagram or Facebook related to the Galactic Healing Circles because they're very informative, they're very helpful, very healing. Okay, they're called healing circles for a reason. So if you're interested, just be on the lookout for my advertisements on that. But anyway, some of the things that I sensed for 2020 going onward were really special, and I wanted to share some of those impressions with you. One of the things that I sensed for 2020 onward is that it's going to be a big year for light workers, okay? So I specifically sensed that Ascendant Master Serapis Bey, and if you're not sure who Serapis Bey is, you might need to or want to do a little bit more research on it. But just to sum things up, Serapis Bey is an Ascendant Master who is associated with the fourth ray of purity. Okay, and there are seven rays, which are fragments of the Christ light, this one Christ light, and they're different colors of the rainbow. But this fourth ray specifically is overseen by Serapis Bey, and one of his biggest retreat center is in Egypt, actually. But one of the things that Serapis Bey does is he helps prepare people for the ascension. And one of the things that I felt going into 2020 is that this year is going to be important for light workers because it's going to be important for them really coming into their life purpose or their soul mission, what it is that they really want to do, how they want to contribute, okay? How they want to be of service to others, in service to the divine. So one of the things I picked up on is that Serapis Bey is going to be gathering light workers from all corners of the earth to gather together in his retreat, obviously, not physically, but in a spiritual sense, to prepare for the next stage of ascension. Okay? Now, for those of you that resonate with this may, or more than likely, the way this is going to be happening is it's going to happen when you're sleeping and you enter a dream state. That's typically how and when you go through any sort of ascension training or any kind of retreats. Anytime you visit them, you typically visit them when you're sleeping. And you also typically don't remember what happens when you're in these retreats, but sometimes a little sliver of memory will come through, and you will either remember through visuals, like you may remember what you saw, or you may just have this feeling that, wow, okay, so I was somewhere else, or I have this feeling that I was touched by some sort of higher energy. So if you feel like that and you have that sort of like remembrance through feeling, know that that is real. So you want to acknowledge that. Okay, so what I got the sense of is that light workers are being prepared for the next big shift that is on the way. Now, I'm not sure when this is going to happen, but I did get the sense that there is another big shift that is on the way. And this may come, I don't know, maybe 5, 10, 15 years down the line. Seems like a long time, but it does go by pretty fast. But I do feel that light workers, those that are in service, are being prepared for that next big shift. So you may not necessarily notice in the exact year 2020 that, oh my God, I know exactly what I want to do in terms of like how exactly the direct path that I want to take. It may not happen like that for everybody, but you might start to get a more of a clear sense of how you want to contribute on the planet. Okay, so I have my laptop open because I'm looking at notes here that I want to, share with you all, because sometimes when I'm in it I can forget things. But yeah, so light workers are being prepared for the next big shift that's on the way, let's say in the next 10, 15 years. I'm not sure what this next shift is going to entail, either because I'm not supposed to know or because I haven't fully tapped into it yet. and I haven't. So it would take some time for me to tap in. But once I know, you guys are going to be the first, I'm going to tell. But I do feel like there's another big shift that's coming that light workers are being prepared for. And I do get the sense that this is going to be the year, the decade for light workers to really make their mark. Okay. So instead of spending time just reflecting and just thinking about what you'd like to do, thinking about what you'd like to contribute, I really feel like this time that's coming, it's really going to be solidifying that which you have been working towards, especially if you are someone who's been on the ascension path for a long time. Things are really going to start to solidify, and you're going to start to get clear on how you're going to express your gifts into the world, okay? Now, of course, this is going to be different for everybody. It might be, let's say, being a humanitarian for one person, being an environmentalist for another, being a therapist for somebody else, or a healthcare worker for someone else. It really depends on the person and what it is that they want to do. But this is why it's important to get clear on how you want to contribute. And I want to say this as well. I wanted to make a separate video for it, but I think I just mentioned it here and there in other videos, is that it's very important for light workers to not just be spiritual in an idea of spiritual. We need to start anchoring our light into the physical world by actually creating change on the planet in a way that can be observed physically. Okay, and I'm not what's the word, discounting what we've done in terms of spiritual work, that which people may not be able to actually see. All of that is very important. However, it's also very important that we ground ourselves into the earth and start working on bringing our light into the earth in a physical sense, like actually helping people, not just people that are spiritual and that are drawn to spirituality, but people that are just living their lives and maybe don't have any cognizance or awareness of what we're doing in a metaphysical sense. So when we allow ourselves to expand in that way, it helps us to have a much bigger reach, okay? So I feel like it's important for us to really get clear on how we want to contribute in a way that reaches more people. Okay, and I'm right with you on that. Okay, so I've been trying to get a sense of like, okay, like how I want to contribute in a physical sense, but I have an idea, but I'm not exactly there yet. But I do know I want to contribute in a physical sense, in a way that, everyone can relate to, where this change will affect all people and it'll make our world a better place overall. So, like I said, the earth is beginning a new cycle, and we need light workers that are going to be able to go out there to be strong and firm in their purpose, not to be wavering or unsure, but to be very strong in who they are and what they're here to do, and really go out there and help people. Okay, so I was going to say something and then I forgot. Okay, so the next thing that I picked up on that I want to share with you is that some of you may notice that your creativity increases, or that you may want to engage in more creative activities, okay? And this is going to be vital because it will give you the energy that you need to do what you need to do, okay? And, uh, you know, I feel like for a long time, creative arts have been kind of like the sideline thing where it's like only people that are in a dream world do kind of like creative arts, and people that are creative don't always get compensated properly for what it is that they're good at and what it is that they do. Okay, but creativity is actually very important, especially if you're someone who is of service or is someone who has a very strong connection to their own being and who they are as a spiritual person and their spirituality as their nature. It's important to be creative because that puts you right in touch with divine inspiration, with divine flow. And if you're engaging in your creativity, you're always going to have a clear, well, maybe not always, but it will give you a stronger sense of direction and what it is that you're going to be, what you need to do next, okay? So it'll put you in touch with your intuitive power, is what I'm saying, okay? Another thing that I felt was positive change. Now, obviously, things are always changing, right? But I feel like these changes will be radical in a way. So it may be like, let's say for the past few years, things have been a certain way and you gotten kind of comfortable with that, but then I see a sudden change that's just like where everything is different now. Okay, so that, depending on the person, of course, that's going to depend. I'm not exactly sure exactly, like, even the different varieties of ways that that could manifest, but what I feel is that it's just going to be radical change. It's going to be stuff that's like you wake up the next morning and it's like, what the hell just happened? So just be prepared for changes that are just like they hit you upside the head. All right. I also feel like, for some people, you may find that multiple options will present themselves and you may have to choose. You may have to choose the direction you want to go in. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It feels like these options which present themselves are all relevant to maybe what it is that you want to do. And each path will give you a way of expressing your authenticity. So if multiple options present themselves, no, it's not a bad thing. Just you might have to just decide what it is you resonate with now, and maybe later on you could do something else. Okay. One of the things that I was feeling for myself, which I feel is relevant to you all as well, is that 2020 feels like a clean slate. It feels like for the past, let's see, I'm 30 now. So let's say for the past, I don't know, 20 some odd years, I had been living a life based on other people's expectations, other people's ideas of what life is supposed to be like, of what you're supposed to do, or how you're supposed to present yourself to the world. But I feel that going into the year 2020 it's going to be about nurturing the seed which you've planted, but it's your seed, okay? Whereas maybe before it was your mom's seed, or it was your dad's seed, or your uncle, or whoever. But you're going to be planting your tree, and what's going to be sprouting from that is your intention, your ideas, your sense of life, and what you want your life to be like. Not basing it on anybody else or anything else that is not in alignment with who you truly are. So I feel like for some of you, this is relevant to you as well, because that's what I feel like is going to be happening for me. It's like, no, Saida, this is your life, okay? So it feels like I'm starting my new life coming in 2020. So for some of you, I feel like this is the time to jump in and embrace your heart's desire. What have you been wanting to do? What have you been wanting to see for your own life? And expect the best for yourself, okay? Raise your expectations. Maybe if you've been so comfortable for so long in being in a kind of life that really wasn't satisfying, start opening up your expectations. Start opening up your sense of possibility of what is available to you, okay? Because I feel like 2020 is the start of a new cycle, not just for the planet, but for us as individuals who are trying to live life the best way that we can. It's time for us to embrace our joy, to embrace our happiness, and to live the life that we want to live, okay? And I kind of talked about this on my Instagram stories, but I'll share it with you now because not everyone follows me on Instagram. But I had a dream, actually. It was a few months ago. And in the dream, I was told that there would be an energy coming in that would help to clear out the past, and that this energy would be led by Saint Germain. Now, for some of you that know me, you know that I have very strong boundaries with spirit. I have strong boundaries with the other side, and I don't just let anybody come into my energy. And all because people channel a certain being or a certain energy, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be tapping into that. So I have to feel a personal pull or a personal um, affinity towards a certain energy before I start working with that. Or this energy has to be so much in resonance at the moment with me and what I need that when they come in, I could feel like, okay, yeah, this energy, I need to be working with this. So I was like, okay, so that's interesting. This isn't the first time that I've heard about Saint Germain, and it's not the first time that I felt his energy around me. However, this energy felt a little bit more potent than the times in the past where Saint Germain has come in. Now, I was like, okay, well, let me just wait and see, because I wasn't given any instructions on what to do from that point on. However, I noticed that a couple of months after that, things started to change very rapidly and very abruptly. So there were these, it felt like whatever it was that I had been putting off, the universe had started to take the reins, and things were changing whether I liked it or not, whether I was ready or not, which I feel like I was ready. I just was dragging my behind to get to it. But things were changing in such a way where I was forced to dig into myself and claim my power, which I've had issues with for the past few years. With claiming my power, with being seen, with taking a leadership role in a strong sense. I was being forced to really honor and work with that, and also to communicate my truth and set very strong and firm boundaries with people, which is something else. It's all related. Something else that I had been working on for years that I was struggling with, because I don't sometimes, when I communicate, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to be judged, blah blah blah. But at that point, I was like, okay, no, this needs to be done. Okay. So those things started to change for me, and by the time I had experienced those lessons, things were completely different, and they're different now. Okay, so I'm still navigating through this energy. So things have really shifted, okay, from that point. So now I'm working with Saint Germain's energy more readily because I had an experience just recently with him where he came through to me and gave me some insight as to what was going to be coming for me in the months ahead, which I really appreciated, as well as some spiritual insights, which I really appreciated. So now, if you all are interested in working with the energy of the violet ray, which doesn't just involve Saint Germain. I meant to explain that to you all, I'm sorry. But Saint Germain is associated with the violet ray, which is one of the 7 rays we talked about. The violet ray is associated with freedom, with alchemy, with transmutation, okay, with mercy and compassion. Okay, so it's not just Saint Germain that's associated with that ray. Goddess Kuan Yin is also associated with it. Archangel Zadkiel is associated with it, and Melchizedek, Lord Melchizedek, okay, is associated with that ray too. And it's a ray that I've been working with for some time, but Saint Germain is just a newer entry. So if you are interested in working with that energy, just go to the link in my in the description box, and I'm offering a service where I'll be helping you to work with that energy. I want to share that amazingness with you, so you can benefit just like I did. But yeah, so I feel like the year, getting back to what I was talking about, I feel like the year 2020 is going to be bringing some changes in a spiritual sense for light workers. And I also sense that the next decade might bring some other changes. Like I said, there's another shift that's coming in. Maybe, like I said, I don't know how long. Could be the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, which is down the line. But I feel it. So if I feel something, I got to share it. And we're being prepared for that as light workers. And there are some light workers where this is the final stage of their ascension. Now, stages of ascension could vary depending on the person in terms of how long they last. But some are entering the final stage of preparation before this next shift happens on the planet. So, and I feel like the next decade may bring some interesting changes in our political system, our government. It might bring some changes in terms of media and communications, so the way that we connect and relate to each other. So we may notice some upgrades in that sense. I mean, no downgrades, obviously, but it feels like it's going to change the way that we relate to and communicate with each other. There may be new laws coming in regarding environment and in our world. So this is why we're going to be seeing some big changes, and it's going to be important for those that are in service to others and the divine to really step up and start going out there and being of service, because we're going to need your voice, we're going to need your insight, we're going to need your wisdom, because whatever is happening to our planet right now, the wheels are turning. Okay, and we just need that. We need to get we need some leadership, and other people that are coming in to the planet that maybe either haven't been born yet or they're still very, very young need a good example. They need people to look up to be able to set the tone for their own life. Whereas maybe with us, if you're around my age, um, and I feel like a lot of us are in the same box, where we really had to be the ones to break the cycle. We had to be the ones to say, you know what, mom, you know what, dad, you know what, whoever, that's not the life that I want to live. And we had to be the ones to break those negative patterns. But now that we know better, we need to start showing those that are coming in after us um, the way, you know, supporting who they are, supporting their authenticity, because they're already going to be coming in with their own set of imprints, their own set of downloads that will be opening up when the time is right. So we need to be able to support them in whatever it is that what their mission is. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share. If I have any more information, I want to see if I could tune into the stuff that I said a little bit more to give you a bit more information. Okay, but we'll see what happens. If there's anything, I'll let you know. And also, so sign up for those circles if you're interested, what I said earlier. And I have done, well, two things I want to share. I've opened up some of my readings for the holiday season. Okay, so if you want to check that out, as you know, I took a long break from readings, but I opened them up for the holiday season if you want to give them as a gift or you want to give them as a gift to yourself. And one of the things that I have opened up for the holiday season is a year-long forecast. So if you want to see what's coming up for 2020 for you, or if you feel someone else wants to know, then that would be an excellent thing to give to them or for yourself. I also opened up a new category on my site called transmissions. So, and they're really cool, they're really awesome, they're really creative, and I would like for you to check them out. And if you're interested, then just send me a personal message or snatch up one of those transmissions so that we can work together and bring in some light. Okay, so we can grow and develop together. Okay, so I hope you all found benefit in this video, and I'll see you around soon. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.